Welcome to test, ladies and gentlemen. All right, man. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. I did go ahead and grab a match that was played against Hristos Bankias and Wesley So. And this game was played 2 days ago. It's just like a chess.com match that they played with each other. Both grandmasters, as you guys know. Wesley So is GM So. But anyways, man, all my people that are coming from the Philippines, I will say Maraming Salamat. Anybody who is coming from Greece, I will say Hristos. And if you guys are ready to go, let's take a look, see what we got for this game, homie. All right, so we got the move D4. We got the move E6, and then we do see the move knight to F3. We still have a chance to transpose into some stuff, but as you guys probably know, if we did go E4, we would be getting automatically into the French defense, but we do not see that. After knight to F3, we do see D5. And then we do see the move C4. And we are kind of getting into like Queen's Gambit decline territory. We got knight to F6, and then we do see G3 Catalan. So for those of you who know Wesley So, he's definitely a big Catalan player as white. And so my guy Bankias is like, you know what? I'm gonna Catalan, yo Catalan, homie. So that is what we see on the board. We got pawn taking C4. And, white is generally not worried about grabbing this pawn back immediately. It is actually somewhat hard for black to hold on to it all the way. So you can kind of develop naturally, which is going to be bishop to G2 and then knight B to D7. And this move right here, knight B to D7, actually stops one of white's main plans to regain the pawn, which is going the move knight to E5. If you go knight to E5, not only are you opening up the bishop, but you are immediately ready to reroute this knight over, and B5 is very not desirable by black because you are, like I said, really open on that diagonal. So we do see castles by white. We see the move C6, and Wesley So's trying to be sneaky. He's like, bro, hey, if you take too much time, I'm going to play the move B5. So we do see Bankias play the move A4, just trying to prevent the B5 stuff. And then we do see the move A5. Knight goes to A3. And then a curious move, maybe to some of you, bishop takes A3, and then we got rook taking A3. It's a little early to give the bishop up. It's definitely the best move in the position. But you want to be thinking in your own games, not that it was a bad move here, but, giving up a bishop for a knight when you don't damage white structure or black structure can come back to bite you in some end games. So just be careful, when you're going into your trades. It is definitely more beneficial when you trade bishop for knight when you do some type of structural damage to your opponent. But like I said, it was good. It was a legitimate move here. We do see castles by black, and then we do see the novelty of the game, a knight to D2. Which, I mean, white is definitely trying to make all these different movements to try to grab this pawn back, because at the moment, white is definitely down the pawn. And then, like I said before, knight B to D7 did prevent that knight maneuver from coming up here on E5. So this is definitely the best way to try to go about grabbing that pawn. And then we immediately see the knight to B6. Black is like, hey, man, I kind of like this pawn, man. I don't really want to give it up, bro. So we do see the move E3. We got queen down to E7. We do see the move queen to C2. And without the move B5, it is actually almost impossible for black to just legitimately hold the pawn. So, I mean, you kind of have to give it up at some point. But we do see Wesley So fighting as hard as he can to create as much trouble as possible. We got the move E5, trying to get some counterplay. Pawn takes E5, queen takes E5, and then we do finally get our pawn back. Knight takes E4, knight takes, and then we got queen taking. And then we do see the move bishop to E6. If you are going to develop, homie, develop with some oomph, with gusto, as they say in some books that I've read. We do see queen going to C3, queen takes C3, and then we do see rook going to C3. And we have actually reached a position. If you do want to pause the video, there is a very, very strong move in the position, and there's a definite, idea and some strategic play behind the move. If you want to go ahead and pause the video and see what move that is for black, go ahead and do so. Okay, cool. So if you are black, one of the things that you should be noticing is that white definitely... Okay, so white has double bishops, right? Black has a bishop and a knight. So it's not like completely like it's just like completely one for either side. It's not like white is just doing great because they have double bishops. If the game does become too open and you can find really great squares for your bishop, then yes, it'll start tipping into your favor just a little bit. So one of the things that white definitely wants to do is develop this dark square bishop on c1 because it literally hasn't done anything the entire game. Black is definitely more developed than white is. So one of the things you should notice is a possibility of a bishop coming to d2 or trying to develop somewhere. And so we actually have the move rook f to d8. So not only are you putting the rook on a completely open file, so congratulations if you found this move, you would be understanding some strategic play by rooks. It is a completely open file. You're preventing white from doing any developing of their own rook, and you also are making it a little bit difficult for this bishop to be developed. If we could have gotten here, then we can at least make the claim, hey man, I'm getting developed some kind of way. We do see the move e4, and we actually see the move rook to d4, and you have a little bit of an issue now if you are white. Like I said, you have, your bishop is being prevented from, developing naturally, and you also now have this rook hitting both of these pawns with the, the knight here, and you really honestly can't control and can't protect everything. So what we see Bankias do in this position is to go the move b3. Give away the pawn on e4, and Wesley So's like, man, you ain't got to tell me twice, homie. Nom noms. I was hungry. You made me some food. I appreciate it. I am now satisfied. And this is not ideal. If you are going to be choosing between losing like a wing pawn or a rim pawn, which the a pawn is, and you're choosing between a central pawn, it's usually a little bit more beneficial to hold the central pawn. So we really kind of needed like an f3, rook to e3, rook to e1, or even maybe a bishop to e3, counterattacking this rook and not allowing knight to capture here first. And actually just giving away the a pawn. Like I said, central pawns generally are a little bit more valuable than wing pawns. So that is kind of how you want to choose between the two of those. But we don't see that. Like I said, Wesley So got his food. He's full. He's content. We do see bishop taking e4 and then rook taking e4. And one of the things in this position is, you remember I was telling you before how like white had the double bishops and black has a knight and a bishop? Well, not anymore. Everything is literally completely almost even. White is now just down an entire pawn. And so they really don't have a whole lot to speak of when they kind of maybe had a little something before. We do see the move bishop to e3. We got bishop to d5, and then we do see the move f3, which doesn't really hang the f pawn at the moment, but we do see the rook sliding over to b4, and you have a little bit of an issue now with your backward pawn. The rook and the bishop are hitting it, so we actually see rook to b1, and this is a really, really defensive position for white to be in, so it's not really ideal. We do see the move b6. And some of you guys might be wondering, okay, why didn't I just isn't this pawn just dropping? Like, why am I not going bishop takes f3 in this position? Well, there was a little bit of a thing that you had in this position. If you did go bishop takes f3 here, you actually see bishop to c5 here, and c5 is a safe square for this bishop to go to, and this is a very real counterattack that you have to worry about. It's not horrible, but I mean, it's just not ideal. So that is why you see Wesley So in this position just say, hey man, I'm gonna go b6. We're not gonna have any of that nonsense. I'm gonna grab your pawn at some point when I feel like it. We do see the move rook to d3, and Wesley So feels like it here. So he goes bishop takes f3, and now you see that white is down 2 entire pawns. We do see rook going to d6, which might kind of seem like it activates the rook somewhat, but we got the bishop backing up to d5. And it is in this position that Bankias resigns the game. Some of you guys might be wondering, like, why do you resign the game, though? It's like, I mean, yeah, you're down 2 pawns, but is it really that lost? I don't want to say it's really that lost, but it's very, very inconvenient for you to play if you are white. And the problem always is you're going against Wesley So. So you're pretty much assuming in this position that it's like, I'm down 2 entire pawns. I mean, like your rook is a little bit trapped. And that is definitely one of the other issues in the position right here. Like, where do you move this rook at? You really don't have any lateral movement by the rook. the king can always kind of just like creep down and do something. So if you see a possible variation, like maybe bishop to d2, the rook would slide over to e4. You might have king to f2. The rook would be coming up to e7. And now this is completely cutting the rook off from the 7th rank. So the rook is literally stuck in that one square. You would probably see rook to e1, and then you just see the, the real, calm king to f8. You're basically telling white, bro, hey, if you want to take my rook, I'm going to take your, rook after we trade. And then what are you doing with your rook? You're going to have to sacrifice it for this bishop. And then you got a bishop versus a rook in game down 2 pawns. I don't want it. I wouldn't want it either if I was you. So that is that game. Nice and short and sweet, to the point. Wesley So, he's like, man, I'm going to go get dessert now since I just ate your pawns earlier. So, all of my people in the Philippines, maga tell you, it is going to be morning time, or it actually already is morning time. Yeah, morning time, magandang hapon if you see this in the afternoon. Almasal tayo, mag lunch na tayo. Mabuting pagbati ingat lagi. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by and taking a look at my stuff. Anybody who is coming up from Greece, I will say yesas. And I don't know any other words in Greek. I know how to say thank you, and I know how to say, pretty much hello, yeah, type deal. So I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by, and I'm going to see you guys next time.